Hi, Boundless Eyes. We're watching an osprey right now, hunting the field and the stream right here. Mostly the field. There's my dog. Hopefully he'll scare up some mice or something like that, and the osprey and my dog could both compete for food. And there's an airplane ruining another one of Earl's videos. Well, I watched, my friend DeSpook sent me the link to your channel, and I watched a lot of your videos, tried to get to know what kind of information you were putting out, and until I got comfortable enough to start commenting a little bit. And the last several videos, oh, here comes that bird. Last several videos had me thinking an awful lot, so I thought I would give you a video shout back. And you were talking about loneliness, depression, people's response to it, the strange English and I might add Australian tendency to when you throw a blanket in a field, like if you threw a blanket right in the middle there and people were walking along the edges, you'd see tracks in the grasses. They'd swing out so they could walk right next to your blanket for some reason. When my experience here in the United States is people would swing even further away from you and your blanket, even if you were a pretty blonde. It's unusual. I can't explain it. I don't know why. So I was thinking when you were talking about people's reaction to just the information, your feelings you put out. You don't want things just to be kind of like lighthearted and fruit punchy and easy peasy lemon squeezy. You want to talk about some stuff, or there's something on your mind. You've got some emotions or feelings, and you're just like, you know what? I want to talk to my friends about this. And your friends or acquaintances or schoolmates have these reactions, and maybe they might be defensive, like they shut down for a lot of different reasons. Maybe because it might trigger strong emotions of their own, and that's how they've always dealt with it, is to to cover it up, maybe, or bury it, or try not to think about it. And I don't know. I think that I was very fortunate to have an experience that I guess maybe gives me insight into that kind of thing, and that I had a whole lot of things in my head that actually it turned out I'd buried. I didn't know it, and maybe I didn't even think the things were very important. Maybe I didn't feel the need or even have the knowledge that if you don't deal with things, you're going to carry them forever. And what happened was I started training for long distance cycling. This would have been about how old would I would have been? About 21 or 22. And as I started spending day after day, 4 hours in the saddle, 6 hours in the saddle, and different from my normal riding, which would be as a courier, because I'm talking with people very briefly. I'd be the master of 10-second conversations. But then after work and on the weekends, I would be riding for like 8 hours by myself. And this really strange thing happened. My mind would dig through my past, through every upsetting, embarrassing memory that it could get its hands on. It was almost like I started thinking about that I'd built a dam up in my mind, and I had what I thought was my consciousness and my day-to-day kind of emotional temperature, which was this stream. And suddenly all this time without distraction weakened the dam, and all this water came pouring through, and all these things that had been buried in sediment and whatnot underneath tranquil waters got stirred up, and suddenly my river was full of rapids. And at first I tried to fight it, and then when I realized that it was sometimes almost overwhelming. I remember on one bike ride pulling over to cry about some memory, something that had happened that I could do nothing about. There was really no way to think, oh well, here's the good way to look at that. There's sometimes things happen in life that there's no good way to look at it other than it's good to survive those things. And as time went on, because I ended up doing a lot of long-distance cycling, I don't know, like, it's almost like eventually all those jagged edges on these boulders were smoothed off. And, you know, they didn't vanish. These memories don't go away. But it was almost like my mind had suddenly just worn them smooth, and they sit firmer in the sediment of my mind. And they don't come tumbling to the surface as much as they used to. So in a way, it was painful and almost traumatizing. Almost every time I think about going on a long ride, I kind of steel myself to, like, well, I wonder what memories and things I haven't fully dealt with yet are going to come bubbling to the surface. But also, in a way, I'm really grateful for that. And, oh well. What's the next step? What was the other thing? Loneliness. I've often felt some really acute loneliness, and it's kind of interesting to me in that what you seem to be seeking was the exact opposite. It looks like you're going at it completely different than I did. I'd feel lonely in a crowd. I'd feel lonely in a party. Sometimes I'd feel lonely in someone's arms, and I couldn't figure out why. And so I tried to work out, you know, better interactions with people, more real and more intense and more meaningful. And maybe I just didn't have the skills for that kind of thing. So eventually what I started to do is, despite my terrible experience with long-distance cycling, being alone, I started doing a lot more things alone, purposefully. I'd actually write out, and I would schedule alone time, you know, that I would go out to dinner with myself or take myself out to a movie. And I actually got to the point where I felt, I don't know, not alone. I would be by myself and have this feeling of, I don't know, just contentment. You know, I was a crowd of one. It took a long time to get there, but I seemed to get faster results doing that. Like you laying out on your blanket and drinking red wine. That would be one of the things I would schedule. I would be out there with basically a picnic for one. And at first it would feel awkward, and I would constantly be tracking individuals, couples, and groups, and judging their apparent levels of happiness. And I always assume that, look at all those people in a group being so happy. But, you know, there's that group dynamic. You are in a club almost. You are in a tribe, and the tribe has an emotional level, an emotional temperature, and everyone's expected to keep it. You know, if you're in a group full of people and everyone's happy, happy, joy, joy, you know, if you're the one person that's like, actually, you know, I'm not feeling too happy, and I'll tell you why, there's going to be 8 people that don't want to hear why, because they're all trying really hard to keep that emotional temperature at the mark it was set by the group. And then, you know, with couples, you have a whole lot more opportunity to change the temperature, and some aren't going to let it change too much. And then you get by yourself, and you could feel, when you're by yourself, I could feel as hot or as cold, as angry or as happy as I want. And afterwards, I don't have to, you know, I don't have to explain it. It was natural and normal for me to feel that way at the time and to express myself the way I did. And if I just express it to myself, you know, who better to express it to? Yeah. Well, Boundless, let me say now at the end, now that I've gotten that off my chest, that basically what I'm telling you is that I hear you, and what you're saying sparks thoughts in me and feelings in me and memories. One thing I wanted to make sure that there was no confusion on, since you don't know me, is that I didn't want you to think that I'm not meaning to give you any kind of advice. I'm only meaning to tell you what's going on for me. Well, I guess what I'm meaning to tell you is that I'm listening. And what else? Yeah, I'd say that's it. All right, Boundless. Peace from my forest to yours, and I'll see you in the tubes.